So to boost, the spammers use two methods, that is content spamming and link spamming. And content spamming is also called as term spamming. And in content is based spamming, in the content, the text fields in HTML pages are added to make these spam pages. So the text will be added in the HTML pages. So where the text is placed in HTML, it can be placed in title, it can be placed in meta tags, body, anchor text, and URLs. So you know that when you are searching for any web page, the most searching is taken place in title. Title will have high ranking. So you can place the spam content in the title and in even meta tags. All the information about the web pages will be there in meta tags. So that meta tags consist of information like other abstract keywords. Okay. So based on the meta tags, also the spam contents can be kept. But now the latest search engines, the search engine algorithms are ranking the meta tag low due to this. And spam terms can be added in the body, in the anchor text, because anchor gives the more description about the other pages. So anchor text, URL. If you see some examples like see if you see this URL like by Canon Rebel, it gives more information. If I add the more content in the URL, then it will all be automatically indexed by the search engines. To spam the pages, the length of the URLs will be increased. Any doubts? Right. The next is in content spelling. There are two main term spamming techniques. Here we have seen where we are going to add this spam techniques. Here, how we are adding, in what way you are adding, repeating some important terms. I have said that some terms are added irrelevantly. Wherever they like, they'll add that important terms or the index terms. Spam terms are randomly placed in the sentences. And some of the headings from the other web pages which have high ranking are copied from that web page and pasted in the required page. Dumping of many unrelated terms. And what is the difference between repeating some important terms and dumping of many unrelated terms? See, the difference is here the terms are repeated which are relevant. And these are in this, for example, sometimes when you are writing the paper and you want to increase the content of your page, what you'll do? ఏం చేస్తారమ్మా చెప్పండి మీరు? If the marks is if the question is for 12 marks and you know only a few sentences, what you will do? Repeat same thing. Same content రెండు సార్లు రిపీట్ చేస్తారు. Okay, to in that and the repeating sentence kuda mere how you will repeat, in which the more content is there, I mean more quality data is there, right? Here also the repeating of same terms will be done. In this, unrelevant terms are dumped. This is the main difference between the first point and the second point. Link spam. Not only on the content spamming is also dependent on the link. And in the link spamming, you have URL or hyperlinks, anchor text can be spammed. Why these people are coming late? Anyone? Right? No. So link spamming is of two types. One is outlinking spamming and inlinking. Outlinking means the my page is pointing to many other pages. That can be easily achieved because I can include many qualitative links in my page. Then my page becomes a hub. And not only I can include the qualitative page, I can include the directories in the outlink page. I mean in outlink spam. What do you mean by directories? Give one example of directories. Directory search engine. Yes, Yahoo. See, so from the directory structure, you can take the subsets of directory, and you can copy that, or you can make the duplicate of that, and you can add that directory structures in your links. That is called as directory cloning. In link span. Outlink, okay, you can add many of the web pages. How can you have inlinks? ఇది మీరు ఐడియా చెప్పండి. Outlinks, other website pages, I can have hyperlinks in my page. I can add important web pages as hyperlink in my page. How can I add my page in others page as a hyperlink? You will contact the admin. Then why admin will agree? That is okay. You can contact the admin. Some relevant answer, but why the admin will agree? Any guesses? Very good. Correct. You add my page, I will add your page. Right. One of the techniques for inlink spamming is creating a honeypot. What is honeypot? What is a honeypot? Is a duplicate page, a page which is not real. For example, I can create a honeypot for JNTUH with some slight changes. It may be change in URL or something like in some small content or anything. And the users will think that this is the real page. And mainly honeypots are created for avoiding cyber attacks, to mislead the 1 minute. To mislead the cyber attackers, they mainly go for cyber honeypots. Here honeypots are created, okay, so that the user can think that this is the real page, and in that honeypots, in that web pages, your page hyperlink is added. Okay, this is one technique. And adding links to web directories. Some web directories allow the developers or allow the web developers to add their URLs in their directories. So inside Yahoo directory, you can add your own URL. The third is posting links to the user generated content. See, there are pages like review pages, forums, discussions. In that pages, you can add your page hyperlink. And these pages are called as user generated contents. Next, your point, Sai Krishna. Participating in link exchange. Few participating in link exchange. In this case, some spammers will form the group and they'll exchange their links. There will be a mutual understanding that you place the link in your page and I will place the link in my page. And creating own spam form. In this case, the spammer will own their own websites. He'll have the control on some of the websites and he'll place the links in all the websites. One who have control over the other websites are called as hackers. They'll somehow hack the web pages and they'll place the link in that pages. Next, hiding techniques. So what are the hiding techniques? In most of the situations, the spammer want to hide the spamming sentences. They don't want the search engines to detect their spamming content. Okay, so the web users do not see them, or the search engines do not see them. So they can use the number of techniques like content hiding. You know this. How you will hide the content? How can you hide the content? My content has been hidden. Can you able to see this? In hide JSON content, can you able to see it? No, na. Now you can't see. So that means you can't see means you can't see the content. లేకపోతే కంటెంట్ కనిపిస్తోందా? కనిపించట్లే కదా ఇప్పుడు. ఎలా హైడ్ చేశాను? ఎలా హైడ్ చేశానో కనిపించలేదా? Yes. Any other techniques? One technique you have told. Using cascading style sheets. The first, how you will hide the content? By using background color. Background color and the content color are same. Then the second hiding technique is of the content. where is for the hyperlink, if you use the image like this small image, blank image, then also the content is hidden for hyperlinks. And you can hide the script using some visual elements. You can hide some of the visual elements on the page. And even inside the HTML tags, we had the option called as hide as an element, right? యూస్ చేశారా హైడ్ ఎప్పుడైనా ఎలిమెంట్? సర్వ్లెట్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ చేశారా? హ్యావ్ యూ కంప్లీటెడ్ సర్వ్లెట్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్? When you are sending one element to other element, and if you don't want to display, compulsory you need to use this element hide. Sorry, okay. Hide techniques, there are 3 types of hiding techniques are there. Content hiding, we have seen already, content hiding technique, clocking, and redirection. And inside the content hiding, you can hide the text, hyperlinks, and some images. I mean some HTML hyperlinks. And text can be hidden using script, color, and graphics. And redirection can be done using meta tags and scripts. Cloaking. In cloaking, the spammers will identify the crawler client and the regular web users, and they are treated separately. So when URL is given, spam servers return some specific HTML document to the regular web browsers, and they return the different documents to the web crawlers. I'll repeat, whenever a URL is submitted, one type of HTML document is given to the regular web browsers, and a different document will be given to a web crawlers. What is the use of giving 2 different web pages to web browsers and crawlers? So when you give a different web page to the web browser, you are giving your intended web page to the users, and you are giving a different document to the web crawlers, so that different document is indexed by the web crawlers. This is the main intention of cloaking. You are giving 2 different documents to the users and crawlers. So how the identification of web crawlers can be done? Because it is identifying differently the users and crawlers. So how the spammers will identify the web crawlers? The first case is the spammers will maintain the IP addresses of all the search engines. And in the second case, it identifies the web browsers based on user agent field in HTTP request message. There is a field called as user agent in HTTP request, and based on this, they'll identify that it is a web browser, not a crawler. So this is the example of user agent for Microsoft Internet Explorer. That means when you see that it is Mozilla, it can identify that yes, it is a what is this? This is user agent Mozilla. So what is the rectification for this? For cloaking, even there should not be no distinctions for crawlers and web users. By seeing the Mozilla, the spammers are identifying that it is a crawler or it is a web user. So this type of bifurcation should not be there. That identification should not be given for the spammers. Redirection. To hide the content of the web page, whenever the user clicks on one web page, immediately the page should be redirected to other web page. That means when he enters into one page, immediately, without seeing the content of that web page, the user should be redirected to other web page. In that way, the content of the page is hidden, and that is achieved using meta tag or else from the script. Combating spam. So combating spam means preventing the spam. How can you prevent the spam? So yeah, redirection is achieved using meta tags as well as using the script. That redirection using meta tag, because you can analyze or scan the entire HTML page, then you can, inside the meta tag, you can see whether the redirection is there or not, and you can stop that. But using the script, it is difficult to identify this spamming page. And I said how you can avoid the cloaking technique. That bifurcation should be stopped. That means the search engine crawlers should be identified as the regular web browser, but not as a crawler. And the next technique is the page rank algorithm, using of page rank algorithm, that you learn in the next unit. Two types of algorithms are there: page rank algorithm and hits algorithm. Page rank algorithm can be used to prevent the content spam, because page rank algorithm points to the target pages. That means there is some reputation over that pages, and when you are pointing to the reputed pages, the spamming can be avoided to some extent, but not to the more extent, because we have already seen how the spamming of links are done, and it only deals with outlinks. It does not deals with in-link based spamming. And remember, in the next unit, I'll ask page rank algorithm is based on. Tell me, page rank algorithm is based on outlinks. And next combating technique, link analysis is used. In the link analysis, separate reputed pages and the spam pages are separated. And when you can able to separate and this reputed pages and spam pages are separated using link analysis, and when you can able to separate two pages, then this can be considered as dash problem. Any answer? I'll repeat the question. When you can able to separate two pages, then this can be seen as dash problem, classification problem. So when you consider this as classification problem, what are required to be identified? Features. So what are the features that are required when you consider the spamming problem as a classification problem? You need to identify the number of words in the page. And in the number of pages, how can you identify? The spam page will have more number of words than a non-spam page. Next, average word length. And inside the spam page, the average word length is more than the 5 letters, which is in ordinary page. In the ordinary page, you have the average word length uh, contents of 5 letters, but whereas in the spam pages you'll have more than this 5 letters. Even the number of words in the page title, even the number of words in the page title will be more. The visibility of these spam pages, they will hide all the spam terms by making the invisible to the users. We have seen that so that the users cannot recognize the spam terms, they'll make these spam terms invisible. Next, this is one of the interesting technique. What you do is partition each page into different blocks, and once you partition the web pages into different blocks, each block is given a different importance. For example, all the spammers, mostly the spammers, will add the spam terms below their below the pages. For example, mostly they'll add the spam terms in the body of the web page, for example, because in the body you can add more terms rather than in the title or meta tag. You can add more terms in the body, so the body is given less importance when compared to title, or the meta tag is given less preference over the title tag. So according to the blocks, the importance is given. So obviously the spam pages will have the less ranking when compared to the web pages based on these block techniques. I'll repeat the sentence. Each block is given an importance level. To combat link spams, link is given less important when, and automatically it will have less transition probabilities, and it will be ranked low in using PageRank algorithm. And this is more effective in the link exchange scheme as well as in honeypot scheme. This completes your third unit. Any doubts in the third unit? What you have studied till now? Web spanning. Inside the web spanning, you have studied about two types of spamming techniques. That is content spamming, which is also known as term spamming, and another term is link spamming. And we have seen where the spam terms are induced, that is in title, body, URL, so on. And how they are induced also we have seen. And in what is the last topic? How to avoid the spam. Any doubts? Okay. Anyone to give a seminar now?
Hello,
Hello, ma.
ma'am. Ma'am, I'm ready to give the presentation, ma'am.
Ivama.
Okay. Hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma.
Ma'am, I can't share the screen if your
Why?
screen is presenting.
Why?
Ma'am, your screen is presenting, ma'am. You're
Oh,
presenting
okay, okay.
PPT.
Sorry, sorry, sorry. Now you can share.
Okay.
Okay. Before you present, sorry, start this avas. Chip.
Okay. Ma'am, is my screen present visible?
Visible.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. My topic is pre-processing techniques for text mining. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Before we before the documents in the collection are used for retrieval, we have to do some pre-processing tasks. For example, for text documents, we have to remove stop word removal. We have to do stop word removal, stemming, handling of digits, hyphens, punctuations, and so on, etc. For web pages, we have to do additional tasks along with stop word removal and stemming. We have to do HTML tag removal. Main content blocks are also required careful consideration. And now we move to why we need to pre-processing. Need of pre-processing is before any documents go for indexing or for retrieval, we have to reduce indexing file size of the text documents. Stop words contains 20 to 30% of total words in a document, so we have to remove stop words. And stemming may reduce indexing size as much as 40 to 50%. And to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of IR system, we have to remove stop words, and also we have to do stemming. So, what is stop word removal? Stop word removal are stop words are frequently occurring and insignificant words in a language that help construct sentences but do not represent any content of the documents. For example, like articles, prepositions, conjunctions, etc. Such words that combine one sentence, we have to remove that those words, and those words should not be involved in indexing also, and should not be stored also. Stemming is a process of conflating the variant forms of word into common representation, the stem. In normal English, we have to remove suffixes, prefixes, stripping. For example, computer, computing, and compute are reduced to compute. So All these for a word we have to remove prefixes and suffixes. So this is called stemming. For most common stemming algorithms is Martin's Porter stemming algorithm. Advantages and disadvantages of stemming. Stemming increases the recall but reduce and also reduces the size of the indexing structure, but stemming reduces the precision because many irrelevant documents may be considered relevant. For example, in a, f- in a document, if you have both COP and COPE, stemming reduces it to COPE. So, however, we want to looking for COPE, it gives COP police. So it reduces the precision. Precision means the document which is relevant to us. So this is the disadvantage of stemming. And other pre-processing tasks are digits. We have to remove digits, numbers and terms that contain digits are removed in the traditional IR systems except the some specific times. Example dates, times and other parts are specified times expressed with regular expressions. And we have to remove hyphens, commas, full stops. So, so before we